Have you ever heard the story of the 79-year-old man who died alone in his bathroom? It sounds like the start of an urban myth, but this one is real, and it holds a powerful lesson that many seniors never hear. According to the medical examiner's report, he suffered a sudden cardiac arrest right after engaging in something perfectly natural, masturbation. Now, let's be clear, solo intimacy is nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, it can be part of a healthy, vibrant life, well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. But here's the part no one talks about. The time of day you choose to do it could make a major difference in your safety, especially if you have heart concerns, blood pressure issues, or take certain medications, which, let's face it, most of us over 60 do. Hi, I'm Dr. John. I've spent over 30 years helping older adults in the US feel more confident, comfortable, and informed when it comes to their health, and that includes topics that others are too embarrassed to talk about. In this video, I'll break down why some times of day are riskier than others, what happens to your body during arousal, and what you can do to stay safe while enjoying this perfectly normal part of life. And if you find this kind of honest, respectful health advice helpful, feel free to subscribe. We talk about the things that really matter here. Let's start by getting something out in the open, something that too many people, including some doctors, are still uncomfortable acknowledging. Masturbation is normal, it's human, and for seniors, it can be an incredibly healthy part of life. There's a harmful myth floating around out there that sexuality disappears after a certain age, like somehow once you blow out your 65th birthday candles, you're supposed to pack up all desire and store it on a shelf with your old photo albums. That's simply not true. In my 30-plus years working with seniors, I've had the privilege of talking with thousands of men and women in their 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, who still feel desire, still enjoy touch, and still value intimacy, even if their bodies don't always cooperate the way they used to. And masturbation, that's a big part of this. Whether you're single, widowed, divorced, or simply need a little alone time, solo intimacy can help relieve stress, improve mood, and even help you sleep better at night. Studies have shown that it can improve blood flow, help with hormone balance, and even support prostate health in men. For women, it can maintain vaginal elasticity and help manage dryness, especially post-menopause. Now here's the key thing. Unlike the wild messaging we hear in youth-driven media, sex or solo intimacy doesn't have to be fast, vigorous, or extreme. In fact, at this stage in life, it's much more about connection with yourself, relaxation, and enjoying the moment. But while the desire for intimacy may stay with us, the body changes. And that's where we need to bring in a little science and a lot of honesty. You see, as we age, the cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive. The heart might work harder to do the same tasks it did with ease in your 40s. Arteries may not expand as flexibly. Blood pressure becomes a bit more unpredictable. And unfortunately, many seniors have underlying conditions, high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, or they're on medications that affect circulation and heart rhythm. So, while the act of self-pleasure can be beneficial, the timing and context suddenly become much more important. Let me put it another way. Just like it's risky for some seniors to shovel snow or lift heavy bags without warming up, first getting aroused at the wrong time of day without preparation can put unnecessary strain on your heart. That brings us back to the tragic story I mentioned earlier. A 79-year-old man living alone suffered a sudden heart attack in the morning while engaging in solo intimacy. There were no warning signs. No one was there to help. By the time paramedics arrived, it was too late. It's not that what he was doing was wrong. It's that his body wasn't ready. And this is the part I want you to really hear. Your well-being matters. You don't have to stop living. You don't have to stop enjoying your body. But you do need to be smart about how and when you do certain things, especially when it comes to activities that elevate your heart rate or blood pressure. And that leads to the next important question. What exactly happens to the senior body during arousal, and why does it become riskier, especially in the morning? Let's break that down next, and I think you'll find the answers surprising and empowering. Now let's talk about what really happens inside the body, especially the senior body, during arousal and climax. When you become sexually aroused, your body doesn't just feel good. It goes through a full cascade of physical responses, whether you're 19 or 79. The heart rate increases. Breathing becomes faster and deeper. Muscles tighten. Blood vessels dilate in some areas, especially in the genital region, while constricting in others. It's a complex balancing act involving your brain hormones, heart, lungs, blood pressure, and nervous system. For most healthy young people, this isn't a problem, but once you reach your 60s and 70s, particularly if you're managing conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, these changes can have more serious implications. Think of it like this: your heart is the engine, and during arousal, that engine suddenly revs up, from idle to high gear sometimes, without warning. If the engine hasn't been warmed up properly, or if it's already under stress from medications, dehydration, or a poor night's sleep, it can stall, or worse, it can fail. One of the most common and least discussed cardiovascular risks for seniors is what's called morning surge. Morning surge refers to the natural rise in blood pressure and heart rate that occurs within the first 30 to 45 minutes after waking. It's your body's way of preparing to go from rest to activity. Cortisol levels, your stress hormone, naturally rise. Your heart starts pumping faster, blood vessels narrow slightly, and all of this happens before you've even gotten out of bed. Now, if you combine that morning surge with an activity like masturbation, which already raises heart rate and blood pressure, you're stacking stress on top of stress. For a healthy person, this might only mean feeling a little winded or flushed. But for someone with narrowed arteries or a weakened heart, it could trigger something far more serious: a stroke, a heart attack, or a dangerous arrhythmia. This is what happened to the man I mentioned earlier. It was around 7 a.m. His medications hadn't kicked in yet. He hadn't eaten, he hadn't hydrated, his blood pressure was likely elevated from the natural morning spike, and then he added sexual stimulation on top of it. He likely experienced what's called sudden cardiac overload. His heart simply couldn't handle the combined demand, and tragically it stopped. It's important to understand, this man didn't die because he did something wrong. He died because no one had ever told him that when you engage in intimacy can be just as important as how. And I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this so you can take back control with the right knowledge. Let me give you another example. I had a patient, let's call him Henry, a 72-year-old retired teacher. Henry came to see me after having a dizzy spell one morning. He admitted a bit sheepishly that he'd been intimate with himself just 20 minutes after waking up. He hadn't eaten, he hadn't taken his blood pressure medication, and he'd gone straight from bed to the bathroom. Henry didn't have a heart attack, thankfully, but his blood pressure plummeted right after climax, and he nearly passed out. That could have led to a fall of head injury or worse. All because no one had ever talked to him about this. Not his doctor, not his friends, not even the articles he'd read on aging and sexuality. The good news is that Henry adjusted his routine. He waited an hour after waking, drank some water, took his medication, and did a short walk around the house to get his body moving before any intimacy. Since then, no more dizziness, no more close calls. It doesn't mean you have to schedule everything like clockwork, but it does mean awareness can save lives. So to put it simply, yes, the body still responds to desire, but as we age, it needs more preparation, especially early in the morning when your cardiovascular system is still waking up, trying to balance hormones, blood sugar, and medication levels. Which brings us to the question, I know you've been wondering if early morning is risky, then what's the safest time of day for solo intimacy? And how can you structure your routine to stay safe and still enjoy that connection with your body? That's exactly what we'll look at next, and some of the answers might surprise you. All right, now that we understand what happens to the body during arousal, and especially how it affects seniors, let's talk timing. This is something almost no one talks about yet. It makes a huge difference. The time of day you choose to engage in solo intimacy can either increase or decrease your risk of a cardiovascular event. And I don't say that lightly. Let's start with the most dangerous time within the first 30 to 45 minutes after waking up. While we touched on this earlier, it's all about the morning surge. Right when you wake up, your body is going through a natural transition. Cortisol, the hormone that helps you wake up, spikes. Blood pressure rises. Your heart rate begins to climb, and your blood vessels are still adjusting from the lowered pressure of sleep. Now, layer in a few common realities for seniors. You likely haven't had water in 6 to 8 hours, so you're a little dehydrated. You probably haven't eaten yet, which means your blood sugar is low. If you take medications in the morning like blood pressure pills or heart medications, they haven't kicked in yet. All of this creates the perfect storm for stress on your cardiovascular system. So if you add sexual stimulation right at that moment, even something gentle, it can tip the scales in the wrong direction. This doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, but it does mean that first hour of the day is a fragile window. You might feel fine, but your body's still catching up. So what's a safer time to enjoy intimacy? Most experts, myself included, recommend mid-morning to mid-afternoon as the optimal window. Here's why that time frame works best. You're fully awake and alert. You've had time to hydrate and eat something, which helps stabilize blood pressure and blood sugar. Your medications, especially those taken in the morning, have had time to take effect. Your cardiovascular system has adjusted to being upright and moving around. You're less likely to experience sudden post-climax drops in blood pressure, which can cause dizziness or fainting. I know this might not sound very romantic, but the truth is, safety doesn't kill pleasure, it protects it. When you feel confident that your body is ready, you can relax more, enjoy more, and worry less. Here's what I often recommend to my patients. Wake up, take your time, sit up slowly, drink a glass of water, have a small breakfast, even just toast or a banana. Take your medications as prescribed. Then do a little gentle movement, walk to the mailbox, stretch anything to get the blood flowing. After that, that's a much better time for intimacy. Your body is more prepared, your heart has warmed up, and your blood pressure is far less likely to spike dangerously. Now, are there other times to avoid? Yes, and they may surprise you. Late at night can also be problematic, but for different reasons. As the day winds down, you're more likely to be fatigued, possibly a little dehydrated, or have taken medications that make you drowsy or lower your blood pressure. If you're lying down and engage in arousal right before sleep, you may experience a sudden drop in blood pressure afterward, and that can lead to dizziness, nausea, or even a fall if you get up too fast. So while nighttime isn't as risky as early morning, it still deserves caution, especially if you've had alcohol-taken sedatives or are particularly tired. Here's a quick guide to think about when timing intimacy. Worst time, within 30 to 45 minutes of waking up. Better mid-morning after breakfast and meds. Ideal, late morning to mid-afternoon. Caution. Late night, especially if fatigued or on sedatives. Let me be clear, this isn't about being afraid. It's about being aware. And awareness gives you options. It gives you confidence. It gives you control. One of my longtime patients, Martha, told me something I'll never forget. She said, "Dr. John, once I understood that I didn't have to do everything right away in the morning, I started enjoying my days more. I gave myself permission to take my time, and my health got better for it." And that's really what this is all about. Giving yourself permission to pace your life in a way that supports your health and happiness. Next, we'll get even more practical. I'm going to walk you through simple, safe habits you can build into your routine to make solo intimacy not only safe, but even more enjoyable. Stick with me. This next part is where it really all comes together. Now that we've covered when it's safest to enjoy solo intimacy, let's talk about the everyday habits and adjustments you can make to help ensure that what should be a pleasurable, relaxing experience doesn't become a health risk. Remember, this isn't about fear, it's about confidence. And that confidence comes from preparation and understanding. Let's start with something simple: hydration. It might not seem related to intimacy, but trust me, it's crucial. After a night of sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. That means your blood is a little thicker, your circulation isn't as smooth, and your blood pressure can swing more unpredictably. Before any physical activity, including sexual activity, it's smart to have at least 1 glass of water. Nothing fancy, just cool, plain water to help your circulation and prepare your cardiovascular system. Next, medication timing. If you take medications for blood pressure, heart rhythm, or circulation, as most seniors do, give them time to work. Many of these medications reach their effective level about 30 to 60 minutes after taking them. That's why jumping into physical activity too soon in the morning can be risky. You want those meds doing their job before your heart starts working harder. So, make it part of your routine. Wake up, take your meds, drink some water, have a small meal, then go about your day. Once your body is stable and fueled, that's the time to consider intimacy. Another big one is movement. You wouldn't run a race without warming up, right? Well, solo intimacy raises your heart rate, so a gentle warm-up beforehand is a smart move. No need to do jumping jacks, just a few minutes of walking around the house, stretching your arms and legs, or doing some light chores can get your blood moving and wake up your cardiovascular system. You're not just preparing your muscles, you're telling your heart, "Hey, we're about to do something here, let's be ready." Breathing is another powerful tool. So many seniors forget to breathe deeply, especially during intimacy where tension or excitement can cause shallow breathing. But deep, slow breaths can help regulate heart rate, keep blood pressure stable, and help you stay relaxed. Try this before any intimate activity. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take 5 slow breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Not only does this calm the body, but it helps center your mind too. You'll feel more present and connected, and it's one of the easiest ways to stay safe. Now let's talk environment. Make sure the space you're in is warm enough that your body doesn't get chilled. Cold rooms cause blood vessels to constrict, which raises blood pressure. Have a soft light on so you're not straining your eyes or moving around in the dark. And most importantly, never rush. You don't need to hurry. There's no race. If you feel lightheaded or notice your heart racing too fast, pause. Listen to your body. There's no shame in stopping if something feels off. A quick tip here, never lock the bathroom or bedroom door if you live alone. In the very rare event that you do feel unwell and need help, you don't want responders struggling to get to you. Just something to keep in mind, a small habit that can make a big difference. Now, if you have specific conditions like atrial fibrillation, unstable angina, or uncontrolled high blood pressure, it's always a good idea to check with your doctor about your personal risk. They may advise you on how soon after medication it's safe to engage in sexual activity or whether certain positions or routines should be avoided. And yes, this includes solo intimacy. It's all physical activity after all, and it all puts a load on your heart. I've had patients keep a simple journal to track how they feel before and after intimacy, noting energy levels, hydration meals, and whether they felt dizzy or tired afterward. It doesn't need to be detailed, just a few notes. Over time, they discovered the times and conditions that worked best for their bodies. That's a wonderful gift. You can give yourself the gift of awareness. Lastly, and maybe most importantly, release the shame. Masturbation in older adulthood is not dirty. It's not embarrassing. It's not inappropriate. It's part of life. It's part of health. And for many seniors, it's one of the few areas where you can connect with your body purely for your own pleasure and peace. There is nothing shameful about that. Give yourself permission to slow down, to listen to your body, and to enjoy intimacy in a way that feels safe, relaxed, and nourishing, not rushed or hidden. And if something doesn't feel right, don't ignore it. Whether it's chest tightness, shortness of breath, lightheadedness, or a strange heartbeat, stop, breathe, and seek help if needed. Your body is speaking to you. Learn to listen. Coming up next, I'll give you a quick summary of everything we've talked about and share one final powerful takeaway that I hope you'll carry with you every day. So here's the bottom line. Solo intimacy is not dangerous, but timing and awareness are everything. With simple adjustments, you can protect your heart, your dignity, and your well-being. If this helped you, comment 1 below and share it with a friend who could use this guidance. Take care of yourself. You deserve to feel good and safe.